everyone. So today in this video, I am going to talk about my SDE-1 Kotak interview experience. So first of all, let me clarify that how I applied for this. So they sent me a mail directly, and they just asked for my resume. I gave them my resume. Now talking about how did the interview, how was the interview process? So I'll quickly tell about. Uh, Application or website bar Barraiser. Okay, so yeah. So they don't take interview directly from their people like the Kotak people does not come and take your interview in the first round. So in the first round, they hire a third party, you can say a third party company which actually takes interview for another company. So So Barraiser was the company or the third party company which actually took my interview, and I went through several blogs of Elite Code and Reddit and Quora, and they also said that from past 2 years, I think I have seen that it is using Barraiser. Before that, I don't know because I saw of 2024 and 2025 the trend was that they used Barraiser for their technical interview for the first round. And the first round, what did they ask? So in the first round, let me open Notepad. Okay. So in the first round, first was the LLD question. Second was distributed system. Third was DSL. Two questions. Okay. Now, uh, 51. Okay. Now, talking about LLD question. So in LLD, okay, first of all, about the interviewer. So the interviewer told me that he was having 12 years of experience in software industry, but I think he told me that he was majorly working on Java and Spring Boot, but I don't think that it was completely true. Uh, I believe that he was some tutor which was hired by this company because I'll explain why I felt about this because it's not any kind of defamation about bar result, but what I feel about the interview, that's a genuine feedback that I want to give to all. So in the LD question, he asked me to design movie booking system. Movie booking system. So it had several requirements like booking, movie booking, booking history, user registration, login, and few more things were there. So and the requirement was to create the API design, then the DB schema, then the flow like the user registry, user service, and all, right? So I was creating different classes for them, but he insisted me to use less classes. So I said, okay, I can use less classes. So in the user schema class only, the entity class itself, I did all my database operations, like the functions which we use for saving the user, like user.save function, then login function, then register function. I just created in my class only. And then I created the API endpoints as in another class. It was in the controller class. And in the controller class, I created API endpoints with the proper API endpoint, with the structure, with the return time. And for this, let me tell you that you were given 30 minutes only. 30 minutes to think about the question, 30 minutes to get to the design, write on your pen and paper, and then code up. So it took me around 5 to 6 minutes to think about it, and multiple things came in between while coding itself. So I just wrote it down on my paper. But yeah, so basically it took some time because yeah, it's like it's not a very small design discussion, but it was something that you have to think about. So yeah, when I completed, I told him that okay, I did this, but he said, where is the API design? Dude, I just wrote API endpoints, API design. I told him that this is the API endpoint. Then he said, okay, but I don't see your DB schema. I saw his, I told him this is the user entity. You can see the DB schema here. But somehow I felt that he was not happy. And because there was a set of standard solution that he had. Basically, what I believe, because his camera was off, I was not able to see what he's doing. And during the whole interview, he was silent. And even I was asking questions, so he was like, "This is the set of questions that has been given, and do accordingly." I clearly asked him that what kind of API design you want. Okay, like what exactly in the API design should I do? Like design the endpoints. Along with the endpoints, a return type should be like try and catch, and after that. But he was like clearly he said that this is the question statement that you have been given, now design. So basically, what I believe that he was not having the clear understanding of the question, or maybe he was not having that technical depth. Now, coming to the next part, it was the distributed system. So in distributed system, it was just oral questions. He asked me few questions. I prepared few of them. So over ChatGPT only, over ChatGPT and over Lead Code, I just found out some standard interview questions based on distributed system. So yeah, distributed system questions were pretty like well only. He crossed questioned few things that was like basic things, but I don't feel that it was to the to up to mark, or like you have to prepare a lot of things. You can give 2 to 3 hours to prepare for this, not much, or maybe a one day to prepare about distributed system. Now coming to DSA question. Okay, so one more thing, LLD it was 30 minutes. DSA also it was around 40 minutes. 20 minutes for one question, 20 minutes for another question, 40 minutes. And the rest was for distributed system. In total, I got around 2 hours, around 2 hours or 2 hours, 5 to 10 minutes for all these parts, one, two, three. Okay, now coming about DSA question. So here I here I say two questions I got. One was merge sorted arrays, another was total distinct ways of climbing here. So, these both are very easy questions, but merge sorted arrays, I was not in touch of this. Like, I think I solved this question around 2 or 3 years back in 2023. So, when I saw this question, I was like very happy that okay, I have solved this question. But while implementing this, I knew that I need to use two pointers, but somehow I was missing something. So what I decided to use one extra space. So I used one extra space. I made a queue. So in Java, how do you we make a queue? We make queue integer or whatever data type you want to insert in the queue. So queue that data type, then the variable name, the queue variable. So the queue equals to new linked list. We write linked list basically because that is the parent class that we use to define a queue, right? So I did that, and when I was like, what my main motive was to traverse through both the arrays and just based on the increasing order, like smallest wherever I get the smallest element, I'll put it right in the queue, and the queue will be in sorted array basically, smaller to higher, and I'll just pull one by one and put into the first array itself. right? So that was my approach. And when I was doing that approach, when I just declared the queue and I started with the for loop to insert in the queue, so he said, "What you have written?" I said, "I have written queue implementation," but he said that why linked list? So let me explain. So I wrote this way: Q equals to new linked list. Okay, this way I just wrote my declared queue. Okay, this way I declared the queue. This way. And first thing he said that why you are using queue and why you are using linked list. So he told me that he was having 12 years of experience. So if he is having 12 years of experience, he would have known about this classical uh, how we declare a queue, right? So I cross-questioned him that, okay, this is the way we declare queue, but he said, no, this is not a queue, this is a linked list. And there only I got to understand that, okay, this is not a this is not the interview that I was expecting. This was clearly a mock-up kind of thing that this Barraiser has done. So basically, I'm not at all happy with this kind of interview which Barraiser actually takes, right? And he clearly said that though you should not use an extra space. I said, okay, is it the requirement that I should not use extra space? So he said, no, you can use, but why to use it? So I there only you could understand that he had a set of standard solution that only he will follow. So I understood that okay, he knows only one solution that he has copy pasted from internet, that he has copy pasted from lead code or GFG or whatever, right? And that only he will stick to it. So, okay, this was done. Now we move to the next question. This was the climbing stairs, the classical DP question. I solved this question, so it was a bit simple. So I just solved it. He asked what is the approach or what is the approach you are actually? I said that I'm using the dynamic programming approach. So yeah, so this was basically the my interview experience, and it did not went well actually because no, actually it went like if, for me it met the expectation, but for bar raiser, I don't find that this is a good thing that you should practice, right? So basically, if you are appearing for Kotak, be aware, just go through all the interview experience over the internet. It will come from there only. And in DSA, just give the best optimal solution. Don't start with the basic naive approach, right? Just give the best approach because he will follow the best approach only, which is given on the internet. So yeah, that was my interview experience. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.